Good morning, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, Ken the Bat Frie, and good Wednesday morning, everybody. I hope everybody's healthy, joyous out there right now. I'm having a great day so far, ready for bed, but you know it's been an exciting last couple of days in baseball. Christmas is creeping up. I won a dugout mug online for the Black Friday special. I won it, and I also just got my Mike Piazza signature dugout mug in. Super excited. Love the dugout mug. I think they're really cool gift ideas for whoever for Christmas and yeah. So before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody today's December 7th, and today's the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. So let's remember that a dark day in our history, December 7th, 1941. Lots of people lost their lives in Hawaii that day, Pearl Harbor. So it's a dark day in our history, but an important part of our history also as Americans. So let's get things started here with the big stuff. Jacob deGrom out and Verlander in. So, I mean, I if you would have asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if I thought deGrom was a lifetime Met, I would have said absolutely. There's no way you can let that guy go, especially 2 years ago. Last year, I shouldn't. 2-3 years ago, when he was winning his Cy Youngs, he was just rolling through everybody. I mean, it was just a shame that the Mets could not get him the run support that he needed to put up more wins. I mean, he was the 1 year a sub-2 ERA, a Cy Young year. He had one back-to-back Cy Youngs with the Mets. The next year was a little over 2, but the wins weren't there because the Mets were just an absolutely horrible, horrible offensive team back then. And so he could have easily been a 20-game winner with the way he pitched those seasons. But then the last couple seasons, some injuries have crept up, and even last year, I said it a couple times on the show. This past season, I said it a couple times in the show in the stretch run. Jake doesn't look right. He doesn't look good. His velocity was there. His stuff had great movement, it appeared, but he wasn't locating. And I just thought he did not look good down the stretch. Even he had our lone playoff win this year, and even that game he didn't look really, really sharp. I mean, he could barely get out of 5 innings. And I get it, coming off of an injury, multiple arm issues. You kind of want to ease him back into it, but if you're going to pay a guy 5 years, $185 million, you want him going 6, 7, 8 innings. In today's baseball, you don't have too many pitchers that go beyond that. Besides Sandy Alcantara down there in Miami, he's the only one that seems to really pitch a lot of innings. I mean, I'm sure there's other guys too, but that's the only one that I can really notice. And he won the NL Cy Young this year. So Jake decides to sign with the Texas Rangers, which was out there since day one. The Rangers, you heard Rangers, Mets, Braves, a couple dark horse teams like San Francisco was looking to spend. I even heard Chicago once, but that was kind of passing. I heard the Yankees once or twice, but not a whole lot after that. And but it just seemed like it was mostly between Texas, Atlanta, and the Mets, and then it was just Texas and the Mets. And from reports that I've been reading and hearing, Jacob never really wanted to return to New York due to it's like the big city life. You see, from stuff I was reading. Now, whether or not this is factual or not, this is just crap I read the internet. I'd say like 5% of the stuff on the internet's true. So it's just but it was interesting. Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But some of the reports that I read, so that Jake was looking to kind of relax a little bit, and with the hustle bustle of New York City, it's hard to do that there. And I was reading a report last night or this morning, however you want to look at it, while I was on break at work, about him being kind of distant from his teammates, not really hanging out after games, kind of just like, in and out kind of deal. Maybe we're just hanging around lingering for a couple minutes and just heading out, not really being social and stuff, which whatever. I mean, to each his own there. You can't blame the guy if he doesn't want to be there. It's cool. I wish Jacob well. And who knows? It's with the way contracts are nowadays. With this opt-out crap, it's just he could be in Texas for 3 years, 4 years, opt out his last year or something like that, and end up in New York again. You just never know. But like I said, 5 years, 185 million he's getting from the Texas Rangers, and it's a possibility of 6 years, 222 million conditional on like innings pitched and options and certain benchmarks that he has to reach and health wise and stuff. I think there's even like a Cy Young. He has to win a Cy Young also. So, but there's a potential of 6 years, 222 million. I mean, when he's right, when Jacob deGrom's right and healthy, he is the best pitcher in the league. I mean, just we did see it a couple games last year where he was just absolutely insane, filthy. I don't know if it was against the Dodgers or if it was against the Braves, but he was just everything was just pinpoint. Just painting the black. His slider just breaking and his fastball. I think it was a four-seam fastball. The way that would break, at 99, 100 mile an hour, absolutely insane. So with Jacob gone, a lot of rumors were happening, swirling around for a while about Justin Verlander, and would the Mets sign Verlander if they lost deGrom? What would it cost to get Verlander? Is it going to be close to what the Scherzer deal is, which is like 42, 43 mil a year for 2 years, 2 to 3 years? And that's what it came down to. It came down to 2 years, 86.6 million at 43 a year, which is basically what Scherzer has left on his deal. Scherzer, though, can opt out after next season, so we could be in this whole situation again, just like with the deGrom saga. But it is what it is. Verlander's 39 years old. Jacob deGrom 34. I just look at the stats here. I'll go over some stats. Jacob deGrom's career as a Met, 9 seasons, 82 wins, 2.52 career ERA with the Mets, 1,607 strikeouts, 2 Cy Young awards, back-to-back Cy Young awards, Rookie of the Year. What else? Pitched in the World Series. Multiple-time All-Star, fan favorite. I think he was better with the hair. After he cut the hair, kind of lost it a little bit. Whatever. That dude had some lettuce on him there. And then you look at Verlander. You compare Verlander to 39 years old, 3 Cy Youngs, 2 with the Houston Astros, 1 with the Detroit Tigers, where he pitched with Max Scherzer for quite a few seasons. And he also has 2 World Series victories with the Houston Astros. So, and he's pitched 17 seasons, 244 wins, 3,198 Ks. Dude's established. And the thing with Scherzer being 39, that's up there in age for athletics. But he's coming off Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. This was his first full season off Tommy John surgery, and he was 18-4 with a 1.75 ERA, winning a Cy Young, winning a World Series. It's absolutely unheard of. So he's on the good half of arm troubles right now, whereas Jacob deGrom, he hasn't had any Tommy John surgeries or anything to that extent, but he's had a lot of nagging and lingering. Who knows in a year or two, you spend 5 years, 185 mil. Who knows in a year or two, you lose him to torn UCL, Tommy John surgery. You lose him for a year and a half, and then all of a sudden, that 5-year deal is basically up. And it's just, I think it was much more risky signing Jake to 5 years, 185 than it is Justin 2 years, 86.6. The annual salary is much, much higher for Verlander, but I think the next 2 seasons are going to be fantastic for him. Just like if he would have went somewhere else, if he would have went to the Dodgers or something like that, I still believe that he would. I'm not just saying that as a Mets fan, as a baseball fan. I'm saying I think Justin Verlander, the next 2 seasons are going to be very, very good for him. Adam Glenn's checking in. Adam checks in on all the shows. A great fan of Out of the Box Sports. We love Adam Glenn. Adam says Justin is perfect for there. He's great. Regular season chokes in the playoffs. He does have a high ERA in the playoffs, but he did shut down the Phillies there to clinch the World Series. He was shaky in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 innings. The Phillies had their opportunities against him, but then he turned it around. He shut them down the rest of the way until the bullpen, which was the freaking Houston Astros bullpen, was insane. Their pitching staff is insane. It's disgusting. The treasure chest of wealth that they have in arms there. It's unbelievable. And they're going to be right there again next season, 2023. So yeah, the Astros. They're so good. And so yeah, so I'm super excited to have Verlander. Super bummed to lose deGrom. It is what it is. Glad I never bought a deGrom jersey. That's one of the reasons why I never really buy too many jerseys unless they're like legacy type players, like a Howard Johnson, who's one of my all-time favorite Mets, or a Gary Carter. I'd buy one of their jerseys because they're retired and Gary's passed away and all. But current players, you just don't buy their jerseys because they move on so much, and it is what it is. So yeah. And so that's what I pretty much got with that. Yeah, I'd like to. I'm sure Jake is watching this right now. Hello, Jake. I'd like to thank you for your service with the Mets. It was a great 9 seasons. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you look on it, back in 14 or 15, where they had. It's just thinking about these pitchers that they had. They had Matt Harvey, who was pretty much in his prime. You had a Noah Syndergaard, Thor, who was coming into his prime. You had Jacob deGrom, who was coming into his prime. Steven Matz, who I still think is a terrific pitcher. I was really bummed when the Mets got rid of him. He's in St. Louis now, but he's in his prime. And he was coming into his prime then. And Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler has been absolutely terrific for the Philadelphia Phillies. And they were all there at the same time and just couldn't make it happen. The Mets got the kiss of death with that back then when you have multiple experts saying, "Oh, they're going to make multiple World Series with this pitching staff." This pitching staff is going to take them to multiple World Series, and it just fell apart after that. Harvey fell apart, and the Mets ended up dumping him. Thor pitched great. Jacob pitched great. Steven Matz pitched okay. I think they traded Wheeler. I don't think he left on free agency. I think they ended up trading him, and it just kind of fell apart after that. They couldn't hit the damn ball, and they wasted a lot of years of good pitching, which is a shame. And then their bullpen wasn't all that great either, but mostly it was the offense. So I'm going to move on to the other big news was Taijuan Walker. Adios, Taijuan. Taijuan is such a roller coaster of a pitcher. I couldn't stand it. If you watch the show in the past, or especially during a regular season, my thoughts on Taijuan Walker. Absolutely amazing first half of the season this year and the year before. Second half of the season just absolutely falls apart. And I don't know what it is, if he runs out of steam, if it's just that there's that much video out there on him then that people know his tendencies, or his stuff isn't just, maybe it just isn't that good. And by the second half of the season, everybody's recognizing it. I don't know what it is with Taijuan Walker. I wish him nothing but ill in Philadelphia, because I don't think Philadelphia needs any more help. But he is, in all seriousness, Taijuan Walker will be there. I guess their number 4 pitcher, I would assume, between Nola, Wheeler, Ranger Suarez. Then I guess it would be Taijuan Walker probably. But if the Mets would have re-signed him, that's what he would have been, a 4 or a 5 with us also, which is what he is. He's a pitcher that eats up innings. ERA usually in the high 3s, low 4s. I'm not sure exactly what he had this year. I think it was like a 3.9 or a 3.8 ERA. Whereas in the first half of the season, he's pitching mid twos, 2.8. I think not. I think it was 2021. He actually had an All-Star appearance. He had a terrific first half of the season, and just absolutely shit the bed second half of the season. I mean, it was a free fall of all free falls. It was really shocking to pitch that well one half of the season. Just and there was no injury concern with him. There was no bicep tightness or forearm tightness or fatigue arm or whatever. There was nothing like that in 2021. It just fell off a cliff. And this past season, he did spend a little bit of time on the injured reserve list, but it wasn't anything serious. He came back, and again, I think he might have had one or two quality starts after that, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't good enough, I should say. But I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's why you look at the Astros. That's why they're, winning world championships with their pitching, because just 1 through 5 starters are solid, and then that bullpen top to bottom is just solid. There's nothing, there's no holes in their game in their pitching. Offensively, I think there is some stuff, and then the Phillies did kind of expose them a little bit with their offense, and the Phillies pitching exposed a little bit of the Astros offense. They obviously the Astros still won. They still hit the ball. They scored runs with small ball and stuff like that, and timely home runs. But Adam says good move by the Phillies. So yeah, and that should be a model that every team has, but it just doesn't work out that way. A lot of that stuff is homegrown talent. That's hard to say. Homegrown talent through the Astro system, and it's just hard to know how a guy's going to turn out. Yeah, he might be your number one pick, but 4 years down the road when he's ready to come up, he may not be that number one guy. He just the scouts got it wrong, or he lost what he had. His prime is gone. So it's so hard to tell, and it's the Astros are the benchmark right now. So right now we're going to go over the Mets rotation currently. As the way it sits right now, I'm hoping they do a couple more moves. We'll have to wait and see. So currently, you have to figure that Verlander's your one. Like I said, he had 18-4 last year, 1.75 ERA, Cy Young, World Series champion. Never pitched in the National League, but the difference is, it used to be that the difference, there was more small ball in the National League than there was in the American League. American League was more bashing with the DH and stuff like that. And both leagues have the DH. It's just it's interchangeable now, in my opinion. So it looks like Verlander is going to be your one. Last season, 28 starts he had. 175 innings pitched. Again, 175 ERA, 18-4. Your number 2 is going to be Scherzer. He had 23 starts last year. Did spend a little bit of time on the injury reserves. With a couple little nagging injuries. No, it wasn't anything too serious. Missed a couple starts here, a couple starts there. I think it was a 10-day DL, 15-day DL, whatever. It wasn't anything too concerning. The same thing as Verlander. He missed a start or two due to a sore calf or an issue with his calf. No structural issues with his arm or whatever. But Scherzer had 23 starts last year, 145 innings pitched, 2.29 ERA, 11-5 record. I was really surprised that he didn't get any consideration for the NL Cy Young. I don't know why. I don't know if he just didn't reach an innings pitch benchmark or what it was, but he had the numbers for it, at least for consideration. I'm not saying he should have won it, but for consideration, he pitched well enough. He had the numbers for it. His team won 101 games. Whatever. So then we also had our number 3 starter should be, as of right now, Cookie Carrasco. Roller coaster season last year. I felt like a really good start when deGrom was out, and Scherzer missed a little bit of time like I think it was May or June. Carrasco and Taijuan Walker and Tyler McGill picked it up a good bit until McGill got hurt. But so yeah, Carrasco up and down a little bit last year. Should be a good number 3 starter, 3 or 4. It depends on where the Mets go with signing people yet. If they go after Rodon or if they bring back Bassett, which is what I'm pulling for. But as of right now, Carrasco's your 3, 29 starts, 152 innings pitched, 397 ERA. Like I said a couple minutes ago, high ERA, usually like a high 3, low 4. You're looking at your 3, 4, 5 pitchers. You kind of want your 3 pitcher, mid 3s, low 3s. Your 4, mid 3s, high 3s. Your 5, pretty much an innings eater. Yeah, so you're looking at 4s, but somebody that's gonna go out there and rest your bullpen. Get your 7 innings, 8 innings, maybe give up 4 runs. A decent outing. Where you're still in the game, but they're not going to shut anybody down. Usually, that's your 5 starter. So Carrasco's 3, 397 ERA, 15-7 record last year, a decent record. Then we had Tyler McGill, who spent a lot of time on the injury list last year, had 9 starts, 47 innings pitched, a 5.13 ERA, and a 4.2 record. That 5.13 ERA really ballooned when he came off the injured reserve list. He just got absolutely destroyed when he came off the injured reserve list out of the bullpen. And I said it on, I think I said it on the show. I wanted the Mets to shut him down because to me, in my opinion, he wasn't ready. They should just left him in the minors for the rest of the season and dealt with who they had. They had plenty of arms in the bullpen. They didn't need the extra help. So my personal belief was leave him down. Just leave the rest of the season. There was only a couple weeks left, but he came up and he got smacked around pretty good, and it didn't do him any favors. It did not do him any favors at all. But again, earlier in the season he looked good, and last season I thought he looked decent also. Again, not a 1 or 2 pitcher, maybe not even a 3, but a 4 or a 5. I think so. I think he's there. And then David Peterson has spent a lot of time. David Peterson. I work night shift. I'm all jumbly here. David Peterson spent a lot of time in the bullpen, and he got some starts, some spot starts and stuff like that, especially with the injuries the Mets were having. And so he ended up having 19 starts, 105 innings pitched, 3.83 ERA, 7-5 record. A pretty decent season from Peterson. Most of his spot starts were pretty good, I thought. I think there was 1 or 2, if I remember correctly, where he got lit up. But for the most part, he was a decent 5 pitcher, 4 or 5 pitcher. And out of the bullpen, I thought he did really, really well. So as of right now, if there's no more moves, no more additional moves, that's what the Mets rotation looks like. And it doesn't look bad. In my opinion, it puts them at a 3rd best team in the NL East. Because the Braves and Phillies are going to be awesome. Just to be realistic, I'm not gonna get all Mets are number 1 kind of guy. It's just to be realistic that the Braves and the Phillies, the Braves are still the class. It's for whatever reason they're just really, really good. The Soli squad checking in. Joe Sullivan, what's up, brother? What are the Phillies getting in Walker? I was just talking about that a couple minutes ago, Joe. They're getting, I think, a pretty good 4 pitcher. I was saying that's where he should be in the Phillies rotation. It should go Noah Wheeler, either way, 1 or 2, doesn't really matter. And then Ranger Suarez, and then Taijuan Walker. A very roller coaster, up and down. First half of the season, pitches really well. Second half of the season really tails off. And like I said, I don't know if it's just fatigue. But he's never had this past season. Did spend a little bit of time on the injured reserve, not a whole lot. So there's no there hasn't been a history like arm fatigue or injuries with him. I just don't know. I don't know what the issue with him is in the second half. I think he had 1 or 2 starts that really stood out to me where he pitched well. And I think one, he had a shutout through 7 innings, but it was against a lower tier team. which is, if they're still major league teams and you still need to win those games, but you want as in your eyes as a Philly fan, you want him to be able to step up against the Mets or the Braves, especially if you have them back-to-back series. He's your 1 and 2s aren't going to be able to go both series, or maybe one of them is going to be able to go both series, but not both of them. So he's going to have a big start against one of those other contenders in that division, and you're going to want him to pitch, solid. He doesn't have to pitch great, solid. And there's just times where it's just not, hit 3 innings and he's out, 4 innings and he's out, and that's not what you want. Paying him, I think they're giving him 4 years, $70 million. I think I read, or something like that. Something like that. And it's that's not what you need out of a guy like that in your 4-hole. You want him to eat up some innings, pitch well, keep you in the games. And he's very Jekyll and Hyde. And his stuff is decent. He has I think it's a low to mid 90s fastball. I think it's curveball pretty decent, or a cutter. I can't remember exactly, but it's just. It's just 2 years ago, he was an all-star first half. He had made the all-star team, which, a lot of people make the all-star team, but whatever. Made the all-star team, second half of the season disappeared. It was just so that's what you're getting out of him, Joe. In my opinion, very Jekyll and Hyde. But with the Phillies offense, they can make up for it. With the Mets offense 2 years ago, they could not make up for it. He'd go out there, give up 5-6 runs. There's no way the Mets could have kept up. We had no offense 2 years ago. This past season, we had an offense in big spurts. And there were some spurts where we didn't have offense. We needed him to step up and pitch a good game. He just disappeared. So that's what the Phillies are getting in Taijuan Walker. He's going to be middle of the road. Linda Duarte checking in. Good morning, Linda. How are you today? Hope everything's well. So we'll move on. Like I said, the Mets rotation: Verlander, Scherzer, Carrasco. As of right now, McGill and David Peterson. We'll move on to the next subject, which is Mets moves. I'd like them to see. I'd like to see them make. And we'll keep that up there. So I think they really need to be looking at their bullpen. They have a lot of arms in free agency right now, which is very concerning to me because I think some of those guys are going to be very, very pricey. Adam Ottavino had a terrific year for the Mets in the bullpen. He was outside of Edwin Diaz, who the Mets also re-signed. Outside of Edwin Diaz, Ottavino was our best bullpen guy. And then our next best guy is also out there, Lugo. And Seth Lugo, I've been hearing some teams that are interested in Lugo as being a starter, and that's what he wants. He wants to be a starter, and he did do some spot starts for the Mets in the past. And I wouldn't be opposed to him being the 5 in our rotation instead of David Peterson. Like those two guys, you could interchange. But yeah, Seth Lugo's getting some serious looks right now from different teams. Like I have a hard time remembering crap. I think Baltimore. I want to say Boston. I think Boston Red Sox also. Some interest in Seth Lugo. And there's another team. I don't want to say. I don't think it's the Cubs. Somebody in the Midwest, I think. I don't know. Maybe it was the Kansas City Royals or somebody. I don't remember exactly who it was, but there are a few teams interested in Lugo as a starter, and that's concerning. And but besides those two guys out of the bullpen, I'd like the Mets to bring back Chris Bassett. I thought the whole season Chris Bassett was our one constant, our steady, our steady. What the hell do you? Our steady hand. There we go. Let's use that. He was our steady hand going straight across. He didn't, no up, no peak, no drop off. Just super steady all season. You knew every time Bassett was going out there, you're getting a quality start. He got knocked around a little bit in the playoffs, but who didn't? To be honest with you, the Mets rotation, who didn't get knocked around? deGrom pitched okay. He pitched well. But even he got knocked around a little bit. Scherzer got knocked around. So I really want to see the Mets bring back Bassett, which really changed the rotation up on the Mets. I think that would drop Peterson out. I think that would move Bassett up to your 3, and that would drop Carrasco to your 4, in my opinion. So he's still out there, even if it's to a 1-year deal. Get him out in there and see what Scherzer's going to do, if he's going to opt out or not. If Scherzer opts out, re-sign Bassett to a bigger deal next season. Keep him, let Verlander walk, and go from there. I mean, that bring up some of these younger arms, and see who's ready. By then, I'm terrible with names. There's a couple minor leaguers who may be ready this season to come up, but if you're going to contend for a championship, which is what the Mets are trying to do, they're trying to contend now. It's, I don't know if you want to just be plugging in young arms. I mean, unless you have the openings, unless there's injuries, plug them in there and see what happens. But dropping out a regular rotation guy, it doesn't make much sense to me. But there are a couple guys that are getting close, maybe a year or 2 away from joining the rotation. So there's going to be more changes next season. Also, it's going to be interesting next couple of years in the free agency market as to what Steve Cohen is willing to spend, what he's going to do and stuff, and what Billy Epler's going to go out there and shake out of the tree for us. So also Brandon Nimmo is a big one. He's still out there. There were some rumors that Mets were also interested in Andrew Benintendi, and he was who did he play for? He played for crap. He was with the Yankees at the end of the season, but he was with somebody else before that. I cannot remember who it was. At the trade deadline, he was moved to the Yankees, and he was playing well, but then he got hurt at the end of the season, and that really hurt the Yankees' offense. The Yankees' offense kind of went stagnant there. Even they still made it to the American League Championship game. So, but the Yankees' offense kind of went stagnant. I wish I could remember who he was playing for. If it was like the Twins or the Guardians or somebody like that, I can't remember. But Benintendi's an outfielder, and if the Mets were to sign Benintendi, there's a possibility they could move Starling Marte to center field, and you have Benintendi and Mark Canha at your corners, with the possibility of Brett Beatty, playing a little bit of outfield. He plays third base and outfield. Was called up at the end of the last season, then also got injured. But he didn't play. I didn't think Brett Beatty played terrible. He didn't look great at the plate, but being called up like that, in the middle of a pennant race and stuff, a lot of pressure. So we'll see what they do with those guys. They called up Beatty, Mark Vientos, and Francisco Alvarez. They're Major League Baseball's overall top prospect, and which I thought they were going to use Alvarez a lot more at the end of the season, and he only got a handful of bats, and that was it, which was kind of frustrating as our DH didn't do crap. So some more another pitching name that's been floated out there, Rodon. He's been listed as going everywhere. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that guy. He pitched out in I want to say San Francisco, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But he's another guy. If you don't get Bassett, you're pulling Rodon. He could be your third or your fourth. I think he's more of a third, just like Bassett. And I think they both had similar numbers, if I remember correctly. I was looking at Rodon's numbers the other day, and I think he and Bassett were very, very similar with their pitching stats. And there's this wild card out there, which if you go back to past episodes, when the Phillies picked this pitcher up, I said it was a great pickup for the Phillies, and if they can sign him to long term, it may prove beneficial. And that was Noah Syndergaard, former Met. He was this past season was his first full season off of Tommy John surgery. His last season with the Mets, he came in for 2 starts. One was 1 inning, and the other one might have been like 2 or 3 innings, just to kind of showcase what he had left for other teams, kind of show that this is what he has left. And so he ended up playing for the Angels last year. Then he was traded at the deadline to Philadelphia. Pitched well in Philly, I thought. Pitched well in the playoffs as kind of like a bullpen spot starter. Even in the World Series, I thought he pitched well. A quick leash on him. I think he gave up 2 earned runs there. I think they're both solo homers, if I remember correctly. But besides that, he was pitching against the Astros very, very well. So I was kind of bummed they didn't let him in a little bit longer there. And I don't remember which game that was in the World Series, but I thought he was pitching well. His fastball isn't where it used to be, but his command, he had a really good command of all of his pitches. It seemed like they're all around the zone. He wasn't striking guys out. He wasn't a huge strikeout guy when he was with the Mets. He was the guy that moved the ball around a lot in the strike zone and made the hitters hit the ball. And but he did have that overpowering fastball if he wanted. He could reach back and throw 99, 100, 101 mile an hour. It doesn't seem like he has that either yet or at all anymore. And if baseball has shown us anything, you don't need the 100 mile an hour fastball to be successful as a starting pitcher. Greg Maddux. That's all you need to say. Greg Maddux. So, excuse me. It's all about location, pitch selection, and being smarter than the hitter. And so if the Mets get a chance to bring Noah back, I hope they do, and I hope they bring him back as a starter. I don't want to see him in the bullpen. I want to see him out there on the bump for 6-7 innings, and I think he can do it. And usually with Tommy John surgery, Verlander shows you right away that season after your first full season is usually your big one. It is usually the one where you're fully back to health and ready to go. So I think only good things are ahead for Syndergaard. And like I said, who knows where he's going to go? He may even re-up with the Phillies. I mean, why would he not? I mean, the Phillies look loaded right now with them signing Trey Turner and all, which wasn't surprising at all. Another big signing today. In case you didn't know, you're watching the show and just rubbing the sleepies out of your eyes and stuff like that. You have eye boogers. You're trying to get them out of there, and or you're sipping on your coffee. Your hair's all frazzled up. Aaron Judge re-signed with the Yankees, 9 years, $360 million, which is a hell of a contract. That's similar to the contract I got with Out of the Box Sports. Not quite 9 years, but the $360 million is spot on. I got less years. The talent is there. So those are the moves I'd like to see the Mets make. Offensively, I think the Mets are good where they're at. They could use a little bit more stability, as I always say, at the DH spot. I think they should trade McCann away. Especially if it saves the money somehow, trade McCann away. There was talk of the Rangers for whatever reason wanting to trade for McCann. I don't know if that's a deGrom. Is deGrom more comfortable with McCann catching? I thought Nito was deGrom's catcher, but I could be wrong with that. I'm not 100% sure with that. But there was talk of the Rangers trading for McCann. I just want that guy gone. I don't want to see him in the lineup next year. I don't want to see him squatting behind the plate. He's not a bad catcher, just absolutely horrific offensively. He'll go to Texas. He'll get traded to Texas. He'll probably hit 280 with 27 home runs and 89 RBI or something like that. It really pissed me off. That's a Met thing. That's a Metism. That's what happens. You trade guys away like that are bums in New York and they go somewhere else and they shine. It is what it is. Or we end up paying them for 30 years after they retire. See you, Bobby Bonilla. And who else? There's somebody else. I can't think of his name now. That's right there. He played for the Yankees. Robinson Cano. I think he's another one that we're going to be paying a long time. Oh boy, terrible contracts. Yeah. So anyway, and there's also that pitcher. Sengai, something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember his last name now. something Japanese-ish. He pitched. I went over my last show. I went over his stats and his best pitches and stuff. But he's been their top pitcher out there in the Japanese baseball. Their top league, and he's getting a lot of looks. And so he's also a possibility. I know the Mets have been in contact with him about pitching. I think I don't remember his exact age, but I think he's in his 20s, late 20s. But he has a ton of innings on him. So we'll have to wait and see where he goes, what's going on with him. And my phone just vibrated. We got breaking news. Let's see what the signing is real quick here. The Red Sox are in agreement on a 2-year, $32 million contract with 3-time All-Star closer Kenley Jansen. Woo! Kenley Jansen. I think he played for the Braves. If I remember correctly, I think he's one of the big boys in the Braves bullpen. Let's see. I don't. That's not gonna tell me. Anyway, so you had Aaron Judge signing. Now you have Kenley Jansen going to the Red Sox. That's huge. That's big news there. So we'll move right along here to the next topic. NL East busy. The Braves not so much. Marlins haven't heard a lot from them. The Nationals, I haven't heard a whole lot from them either. I think they just signed somebody recently, but I can't remember. It wasn't anything. It was too splashy. But the Mets and the Phillies, the freaking Phillies. I mean, they're already pretty much stacked. That offensive lineup is just insane when it's all clicking, when it's all together. Harper will start on the DL next year after having I think he had Tommy John or some sort of UCL repair surgery. So he'll start on the DL for the first few months for the Phillies. So he'll be out. They signed Trey Turner, probably one of the best. One of the best shortstops, one of the best players overall in the league. That was just that's insane. And everybody knew. It wasn't a big secret that he wanted to go to. Trey Turner wanted to go to Philadelphia. It was Philadelphia, Atlanta. I heard. There was one more team. It wasn't the Mets. No, it was the Mets. Yeah, it was the Mets, Phillies, and Atlanta. I was reading rumors as to signing Trey Turner, but he has a relationship with Bryce Harper and stuff like that. Good friends, and it was almost inevitable that he was going to Philly. His wife and Bryce's wife or buddies or whatever. They have a secret handshake and stuff like that. I mean, if that's how we're picking what team we go to now, whatever. Go to Philly then, Trey. We didn't want you. I mean, the dude is speed, defense, hits for average, hits for power, knocks runs in. I mean, it's just like what can he not do? And if you've never seen him play, all you gotta do is YouTube him sliding in the home. It's disgusting. It's so smooth. It just like kind of pops right up. It's bullshit is what it is. It's bullshit. It's not fair. So the Phillies are out there spending a lot of money. I don't remember what his deal was for. If there's any Philly fans watching right now, shoot me. Was it 311 million or 300 million? For 11 years, 330 million, 300 million, something like that. 11 years, $300 million plus or whatever. So he's going to be there a long time. He'll be there longer than Harper. I think Harper's up in 2031, and he'll be up in 2034. Trey Turner will be. So both those guys together for a long time to come. As long as everything stays good for Philly, it's going to look like there's going to be quite a few seasons where there's some happy Philly fans. I'll probably have to go there and watch a couple games. I'm not I'm a Mets fan. I'm not a Phillies fan, but I do go and enjoy watching a baseball, and the closest stadium is Philadelphia. So the last time I was there, I wore my Mets stuff. I was harassed and stuff like that. But yeah, it was all good fun. It was no big deal. No drunken fights or whatever. There's actually very clever stuff they're saying to me. Nothing too vulgar, but some funny stuff. I got a chuckle out of it, and yeah, I'd wear my Mets crap there again. It's different when you go to watch a baseball game than you go to watch a football game. It seems like they're more aggressive at the football games. I don't know if they get drunker, dumber, what it is, or whatever. You wear the other team's jersey, and all of a sudden they want to beat the shit out of you. Whatever. It's just a jersey. It's a shirt. Now I can see if both sets of fans are going at each other, hurt feelings. Somebody says something about somebody's mother or aunt or wife or something like that. Fisticuffs are going to happen. But besides that, there shouldn't be any issues. But there always seems to be. So whatever. Like I seen the one Philly fan just up screaming in a Mets fan's face. The Mets fan was just sitting there, whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, there should be a lot of good seasons there in Philadelphia, as long as they keep it all together and keep building. I'm not sure what the rest of what Schwarber signed for and all that stuff, and all the rest of the big guys. And I'm going to be interested to see what they do with the first baseman. Mine's drawing a blank there. I could picture him. He flubbed pretty much every ball that was hit to him in the World or in the playoffs. But I'm interested to see what they do with him. If they, I don't think he's a free agent. If they're going to release him or trade him away or what they plan on doing. I was still surprised that they got rid of Gene Segura, but you had to make room for Trey Turner. So yeah, I think Bryson Stott plays shortstop for the Phillies. So I'm going to be interested to see if where Turner's going to play. So with the Braves, they also have Dansby Swanson not signed yet. Is he going to go somewhere else? I think the Braves are just content letting him go and keeping a young guy there. I remember his name. They had a younger player there playing also at shortstop who played pretty well, if I remember correctly. Like most of the young guys that they brought up this year were just killing it when they took the division away from the Mets. So yes, the NL East has been red hot, especially the Phillies and Mets. So hopefully there's more news for the Mets and less news for the Phillies, or bad news. Bad news would be better for the Phillies and the Braves. And I put this in as a topic before Aaron Judge signed his contract, but I'm still going to go through it. If anybody's still watching this, you be the judge. Which by that topic heading, I mean, what would you rather be? Would you rather pitch, or would you rather hit in New York, play in New York for the Yankees, where you hit 62 home runs and get booed out of the building because you can't hit the goddamn ball in the playoffs? Or would you rather go home to San Francisco and maybe play in front of fans that are less passionate and less into it than what the New York fans? New York fans are, especially Yankee fans, live and die with every pitch, every swing of the bat. Whereas out in San Francisco, it might be a little bit more laid back. Whereas it seems like it's that way with a lot of California sports. At least that's the stuff that I hear. I've never been to a sporting event in California. I've never been to California before. So that's just stuff that you hear, either, different media outlets or whatever. That's usually more laid back in the California sporting markets than it is in New York or anywhere on the East Coast, New York, Philly, Boston. So where would you rather play? Would you rather play in San Francisco, who was, from what I understand, was offering him $360 million, just what he signed with the Yankees, 9 years, $360 million, or would you rather play New York with the Yankees? Me personally, I think I'd rather play with the Yankees for a bunch of different reasons. They're going to contend year in and year out. They're going to put money out. They don't spend as much as what they used to, but they're still out there They're still an attractive team to go to. It seems to be a little bit less after this past season. You've seen reports out there that how the fans treated Judge in the playoffs. They were booing him a lot. That turned a lot of prospective free agents away from New York and the Yankees because of that. And my first thought is, well, he hit the damn ball and they won't boo you. I mean, that's what he's getting paid for. He hit 62 home runs in the regular season, and that probably hurt him in the playoffs, going for the home run record because he's pressing. Now he's just trying to hit home runs. That kind of stuff really messes your swing up. It happens to a lot of guys after the home run derby. They go to the home run derby. They're out there just with their home run swing, crushing home runs. Then after that, it takes them a couple of weeks, or sometimes they don't even get it back. Their regular swing that they were using in the during the season, base hits and an occasional home run. Not out there trying to get a home run with every single pitch. So it seemed like that maybe his pursuit of 62 hurt him in the playoffs. But then again, they made it to the ALCS. They lost to the best team in baseball, Houston. Cleveland has a hell of a team there with their pitching staff. So, in hindsight, he did face a lot of good pitching. But it was just, for who he was all season up until the last month, it just, he should have been booed. In my opinion. If it were, Pete Alonso, he gets booed often. But if it's Pete Alonso, who hits 40 home runs in a season, this year hit 270 or whatever, if he goes to the playoffs and we actually have a decent run at it, a couple series, and he's not hitting anything, he should be booed also. It's just it's part of the allure of the East Coast teams, the New York teams, the passion these the fan bases have. Is what I think makes them attractive sometimes to certain free agents. Is you want that rabid fan base. You want that fan base that's going to live and die with every pitch, where you're being booed for 3 straight games because you can't hit anything. All of a sudden, you hit that one ball that gives your team the win or whatever. Then you're the hero again. Everything's forgotten until the next 3 games where you don't hit shit again. So it's just it also keeps the pressure. It keeps the pressure on the players. It keeps them on their toes. Some guys just can't handle it. You see it often when players are traded to these big market teams. They just don't perform because they're not comfortable in the big market. They're not used to the fans being on their ass or the media with following their every move. It's just they're not used to that. There's some players just aren't made for it, and I think Aaron Judge is, and so I'm glad he's going to be back in the Bronx. That's where I would have chose if I were him. I would have chose to go to the Bronx. Even though his home, he grew up in California. I think he grew up close to San Francisco. But still, it's you're a grown man. You don't need to live next to mom and dad. The hell, what is this? So that's all I got to say about that. Let me know. Instant message me or whatever. Facebook Messenger. Your thoughts on that? Where would you rather play, San Francisco or the Yankees? Like I said, it doesn't really matter now. I put that in there before he signed with the Yankees, but that was one of the things I was going for. So now we're going to move on to my top 10 list. It's top 10 Christmas movies that may not be. So what does that mean? So that's a debate that we kind of had a little bit 2 Tuesdays ago on the Fight Club 215, where they were talking about their top 3 favorite Christmas movies, and I brought up the movie Batman Returns. I brought it up basically out of jest, because it's funny. It is a Christmas movie, in my opinion. It's but it brings up a whole other question as to what the hell's a Christmas movie and what's not a Christmas movie. You hear about Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So I'm like, you know what? That'd be a fun top 10 to go over popular movies that may or may not be Christmas movies, in my opinion. This is my opinion. You may have a different opinion about these. Yeah, I'm all for it. Let me know what your opinion is. We'll debate it. So anyway, top 10. Is it or is it not a Christmas movie? And this way, like some of them, I had a hard time thinking of 10 of them. So I had to do a little bit of research. I'm like what are people considering borderline Christmas movies? Some of them actually really surprised me. Here we go. Adam Glenn. Judge made the right decision. He has a better chance of playing in home. Yeah, so I think he grew up in California, but he signed with the Yankees. I think he made the right move signing with the Yankees. I'm not sure if you're saying that he made the right move signing with the Yankees. I think that's what you're saying. That's what I believe also. Says how? I don't know what you mean by that. So elaborate on that, Adam, and get back to me. Number 10, I have Iron Man 3. I didn't really think of that as a Christmas movie until I kind of, it's been a while since I've seen it, until I actually thought about it. It is kind of set around Christmas time a little bit. But overall, I don't think that's a Christmas movie. Like there's like I said, it's around Christmas time. He becomes friends with a kid. He's kind of like finding himself a little bit. Tony, he has like some inner struggles as to who he really is and stuff. Which is brought up by the 10 Rings and stuff like that. It's if you never Iron Man 3 is a pretty good movie. All three Iron Men are good movies. But Iron Man 3 is not a Christmas movie, in my opinion. Number 9, Edward Scissorhands. I never thought of this as a Christmas movie. I just figured it took place during wintertime. And again, this is one of the movies that when I did research kept coming up as a Christmas movie. And I cannot remember for the life of me. I remember seeing Christmas trees. The dude was trimming bushes for 75% of the movie. It's sunny, it's warm. I do remember near the end, the snow and stuff like that. And I think Christmas lights, I remember him cutting lights as he's walking through yards because he's all pissed off. Adam says he has a better chance of playing in the playoffs. And I agree there, Adam. With the Yankees, I think they'll be more competitive. Even though the Giants say they want to spend more money, I think the Yankees organization, even though the Giants have won a few World Series here in the past decade, I think 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, but they the last few years they've kind of fallen off. Well, I can't even say that. Just this past season, the year before, they had over 100 wins. This past season, there's for whatever reason, if it's injuries or what, or if it's Gabe Kapler, they just kind of fell off the edge. So yeah, that's to be seen there, Adam. I don't know now. Now that I really think about it, you bring that up about a better chance of playing in the playoffs. The NL East is super competitive. The AL East is super competitive. The NL West is very competitive. So between the Padres, Dodgers, Giants. So who knows? I guess that remains to be seen about the playoff. Better chance of playing in the playoffs. So Edward Scissorhands, I say no, but I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch Edward Scissorhands to see if that is a Christmas movie or not. It really had me scratching my head. It's like it might be, but I just cannot pinpoint Christmassy type stuff. Besides, I remember seeing a couple Christmas trees and him cutting strings of lights and stuff like that. So number 8, Grumpy Old Men. Again, it takes place around Christmas time. A lot of Christmas music in that. I think the movie is absolutely freaking hilarious. Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, it's just fantastic. A couple old dudes chasing tail. I mean, well, you can't get better than that, man. And pranking each other. But I don't think that's a Christmas movie either. It takes place around Christmas. I think near the end, the son's at the house for Christmas dinner and stuff like that. But the movie's not really affected at all by Christmas. Number 7, Krampus. That is a Christmas movie. It's a horror Christmas movie. It's about what happens to bad children. Besides getting lumps of coal, Krampus comes and gets you and drags you down to hell and shit like that. That's some hardcore Christmas stuff right there, man. So that is definitely a Christmas movie. It's not one of those jolly Christmas movies though. It's a for real Christmas movie. It's one of those ones that you show the kids, you keep acting a fool. This is what's going to happen. You're not going to get Santa. You're going to get Krampus and Cole. So here's an interesting one. Number 6, Nightmare Before Christmas. Christmas movie or Halloween movie? My opinion is they're both. It can be both. It sets in both. I think that's great writing, great marketing. It's you get both. You get the 24 hours of Nightmare Before Christmas during Halloween. Then you get 24 hours of Nightmare Before Christmas during Christmas. It's perfect. I think that's great. It is a Christmas movie. You have Santa Claus in there. You have Jack Skellington delivering Christmas presents, not very good Christmas presents, so scary Christmas presents, but delivering. Then you also have Santa Claus coming back and saving Christmas. So that's absolutely 100% a Christmas movie. And here's one that I've always loved this movie, but I never really thought of it as a Christmas movie until I sat down and actually thought about it. Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. That's a Christmas movie, I think. It's set around Christmas. There's a Christmas party. Dan Aykroyd's wearing a Christmas suit. Merry New Year. That's Eddie Murphy's acting. I don't remember what the exact nation in Africa he was doing, but he was hitting himself. Merry New Year! Absolutely, that's a Christmas movie. It's not one of those Christmas movies where they're opening presents or there's a Christmas miracle and stuff like that. But it takes place. It's affected by Christmas and the loneliness and stuff like that around Christmas. And when Dan Aykroyd pulls that chunk of meat or whatever the hell it was out of his Santa beard that he was hiding there from when he stormed the Christmas party, and he starts eating and the beard's all up in his mouth. I'm like, how the hell did you film that? And that had to be awful. So I think that's a Christmas movie, in my opinion. It's a very, 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 very borderline Christmas movie, but in my opinion, it's a Christmas movie. Number 4, Gremlins. This is 100% a Christmas movie. I mean, how could this not be a Christmas movie? Because Gizmo is a freaking Christmas present. He's not a very good Christmas present, or I should say, they didn't do a good job of following the instructions to their Christmas present. But Gizmo is a freaking Christmas present. So how could that not be a Christmas movie? It's a Christmas movie. It takes place around Christmas, Christmas present. There's Christmas trees, Christmas lights everywhere. There's snow, all sorts of crap like that. So Gremlins, 100% Christmas movie. Set the kids down Christmas Eve night, let them watch Gremlins. Number 3, this is where the debate happened with myself and the 215 guys. Batman Returns, Christmas movie. A little bit more above borderline. It's not quite borderline. I think it's more Christmas movie than not. Takes place around Christmas. If you go back and watch the movie, Max Schreck, one of the villains, is throwing Christmas presents to all the people in the crowd. They're there for a tree lighting ceremony, which is interrupted by the circus gang, Penguin Circus Gang. And so that's interrupted, and they have to redo it later on. That's where Batman gets set up. You had the Snow Princess or the Snow Queen or the Christmas Princess. I don't remember her exact title, but she is kidnapped by Catwoman and Penguin, put up top of the building. Penguin pushes her off. She falls on top of the fancy button to light the tree up, and all the bats come flying out. So everybody thinks Batman pushed her off the building. He's looking over the side. So without that Christmas tree lighting ceremony, there's none of that. One more case in point here that this is a Christmas movie, one more proof, is mistletoe. You can't have a Christmas movie sometimes without mistletoe. That's a huge giveaway for a Christmas movie is mistletoe. So when Catwoman finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, they're standing under mistletoe. Earlier in the movie, there was something said between them. They were under mistletoe again, but in their costumes. And the quote, if I get it right here, is mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it. And then the other says it can be even deadlier with a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it. That's what I think Catwoman said to Batman. And then later in the movie, that's what Bruce Wayne says to Selina Kyle. So she knows that that's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne now knows that Selina Kyle's Catwoman. They're falling in love with each other. And it's almost like a Christmas miracle, but now they don't know if they should fight or what they should. That's a Christmas story right there. It's ready made. There's all sorts of Christmas elements in this one. So there's no way you can argue against that being a Christmas movie. That's 100% Christmas movie. Now we get into the really, really big ones here. Die Hard. The main plot of this is around a Christmas party. So I mean that right there just tells you a Christmas movie. You can't have a Christmas party if it's not Christmas. I mean you could, but it's false. It's not real. It's not true. So I think Die Hard is absolutely 100% a Christmas movie. It takes place. It's affected by Christmas because all those people would not be there if it were not for the Christmas party. John McClane would not be coming there if it wasn't for the holidays, if it wasn't for Christmas, if it wasn't, the Christmas party. I think he was going to the Christmas party to be with his wife or ex-wife, whatever the hell she is. So again, all affected by Christmas. And number one, I like this movie better than Die Hard, is Lethal Weapon. The first one. Again, this takes place around Christmas. You have Christmas trees everywhere, Christmas lights. Well, one part of the movie, they leave a note under the Christmas tree or on the Christmas tree, for the bad guys. I don't remember exactly what the note said anymore. But yeah, a whole bunch of undertones of Christmas there, subtle and blatant Christmas tones. So I think Lethal Weapon's also a Christmas movie. So that's my top 10 list of Christmas movies that may or may not be. And so some of them were, some of them weren't, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys have. If there's any movies that you think are Christmas movies that some people may not think are Christmas movies, or if you disagree with some of my selections, except for Batman Returns, you cannot argue that one. That one is 100% a Christmas movie. Joey Wood, Paul Spencer, I'm looking at you. So that's pretty much all I have. So I'm going to run our show's clip for you guys. It's a 1 minute clip of all the shows we have here on Out of the Box Sports. Maybe I'll watch the clip. It's only a minute long. It's not going to kill you. Lots of great shows on this network. It's only getting bigger. I mean, more shows added coming up here shortly. New Year's going to be awesome. Even bigger things in 2023. So I'm going to run this clip, and I'll be right back in 1 minute. And there you have it. That's all of our shows here on Out of the Box Sports, plus our sponsors. Make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe button. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. It helps us out a lot. More followers we have, more subscribers we have, is better for us. More viewership and stuff like that. So yeah, just check all these shows out. There's a little bit of something for everybody. I know people watch this. There's a lot of Phillies fans, Eagles fans, Giants, Cowboy fans, Giants fans. I know there's a lot of these out there, people that love college football and stuff like that. So make sure you check those shows out. A lot of good stuff. And that's pretty much all I have for today. I'll be back in 2 weeks, not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after. That's 2. So that's all I got, guys. And until next time, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace.